His name was Cody Hardesty. He was the only super late model team to show up at Roaring Knob on an open trailer, guys. And there were several times at the end of the race I interviewed him in victory lane because he spanked their butts. So don't worry about that open trailer. Yeah, you can't race the trailers. You're there, and that's the main thing, okay, guys?
Yep.
There you go. All right, now, so you're doing this the right way. You know, you're staying within your budget. You're not overextending yourself. And what I like about you two guys, and I've talked to your mother, Tony, and your father, Eddie, and they will both readily tell me they don't own the car. You two guys own the car, and you do the work on the car. Now, the interesting thing about this is you two guys, you can't go out here and get the quote, unquote, real job, meaning at the end of the day at school, you can't go work at the grocery store or the factory or the department store or the fast food restaurant, but you wanted to fund your racing. You didn't necessarily want mom and dad or family funding it. You wanted to fund this. So you two guys at the age of 13 actually formed your own LLC. You formed your own company to help fund your racing, and I want you to talk about that.
Yeah, we have a simulator car that's helping us with our funds too. It's a Casey Kane car.
Right.
It has a video game in it, and it has hydraulics that when you play it, it moves up and down like you're actually racing.
And so do you take your simulator car to like businesses and civic events and advertise and people pay to get in the simulator? How does that work?
Yeah, we take it to car shows, businesses, trade shows, community events. And we also have it available for people to rent it out, like at birthday parties.
Okay.
Or employee appreciation days and things like that.
Okay. And so the money that you're making off your simulator car, you're funding your race car and your race team, correct?
Yep.
And you're staying in your budget, correct?
Yes.
So see, this is what I want the young drivers listening to you two guys for, you know, because you guys are doing this the right way. You set up your business model, you set up your budget, and you're working within that budget, right?
Yep.
So you see, you two guys, in my opinion, have got this figured out. I have met drivers in their mid to late 20s that didn't have figured out what you two 14-year-old guys have already figured out. Now, another thing you two guys have already got figured out, and I have seen this, I have looked through social media, I've looked at your website, you understand the importance of marketing yourself, and talk about that.
Yes, we do. We have a marketing coach.
Okay.
Anna Marie Strawhand.
Oh, yes, I know her, yes. Mm-hmm.
We get on a video call with her every week.
Okay.
And she helps us with our marketing, with all our social media, and she teaches us how to grow our social media, grow our fan base, and she doesn't give us sponsors, but she teaches us how to get marketing partnerships and sponsors. So that's a good thing.
Yes, and I've known her for a while. I have her on social media as well. She does a good job, and I'm telling you, and I know you two guys will agree with me, you have to have talent and you have to get it done on the racetrack, but what you do off the racetrack, how you present yourself off the racetrack, I guarantee you agree with me, is just as important, isn't it?
Yes, yeah.
Especially if you're, and even on dirt, but especially if you're playing in the asphalt jungle, the Super Cup Stock Car Series, the Truck Series, the Xfinity, you've got to know how to walk that line. And I see you guys, you're clean cut, Your driver's uniforms are clean. You've got your website, your social media. You've got your LLC business. You knew to start out at the ground level and stay within your budget. So in my estimation, you two guys are a great role model and example for other young drivers. How do you feel?
I agree with you. And thank you for saying that. Yeah, we work hard for everything we have.
Well, I can tell, and you're doing a great job, and you know, and you're humble about what you do, and you know, and don't let this intimidate you. Now, although I do want to ask you, I mean, you guys just turning 14, basically you called it a starter car. You guys are going out on the track, and you're racing against guys like Mike Potter, who has raced in the NASCAR Monster Energy Cup Series. He's raced in the Daytona 500. You're racing against Bob Schacht, a ARCA Series champion, ARCA Series winner, Brad Teague, who has raced in the Cup Series, Todd Peck, who has raced in the Truck Series, Cody Rohrbaugh, who has raced ARCA and made his Truck Series debut at Bristol, I believe it was earlier, Harvey Harrison, who has raced everywhere, Willie Mullins. I mean, so you guys are going out there against some of the best, Patty Simcoe. And how does that feel going out there racing against a marquee set of drivers like that?
It's kind of intimidating, but at the same time, we learn off of them and we respect them, and they respect us. Yeah.
Well, how have you been received as far as these guys that have been in the NASCAR ranks, the ARCA Series ranks? They see two young 14-year-olds come in with an entry-level car. How have you been received? What's the reaction been from your competitors?
At first, they were not sure about two 14-year-olds driving a 3,300-pound stock car around with champions.
Right.
But now they shake our hands and they respect us. They tell us good job.
Okay.
They give us words of encouragement and things like that.
And I would think that based on a performance earlier in the season at the Jennerstown Speedway, that really helped to set that up, because you guys, I think this race at Jennerstown last Saturday, I think would have been your third event, but I think second event out of the gates. I think you first went to Dominion. Is that correct? Was that your first race, Dominion Speedway in Virginia?
Yes, that was our first race.
And then you went to Jennerstown as your second race. Now, the way so ladies and gentlemen listening here on 93.7 FM wrgg, the way the Super Cup Stock Car Series is set up, they run a twin 50-lap format. So basically you've got Hayden and Landon here, brothers. The Super Cup Stock Car Series, they race a 50-lap race earlier in the program, and they race a 50-lap race later in the program. So you guys, you know, one will race the first race, one will race the second race. And when you guys went to Jennerstown in the first race, Landon, you finished 7th, and Hayden, you finished 10th against some of the best in the business. So second race out of the gates, you both scored a top 10 finish in Super Cup Stock Car Series racing.
Yep.
How did that make you feel?
Makes me feel proud and excited.
Yeah.
And
go ahead.
Yeah, it makes me feel excited for the future of, if we got a top 10 there, we could get another top 10. Another race. Yeah.
Are you okay? Go ahead.
Yeah, we could get like top 7, top 5 finishes later, next year.
So, speaking of next year, are you planning to do the full season in Super Cup stocks next year?
Yes, we are.
Okay, awesome. So you're going to be traveling, like you said. Now, I was looking at your hero card, and you've got career goals, and you both have outlined the same goals for yourselves. Now, you said Super Cup Stock Car Series by 14. All right, you've checked that. You wanted to go ARCA by age 15, NASCAR trucks by 18, and up either in the Xfinity or Cup Series by age 20. So obviously, through Anne Marie and your marketing coach, obviously, even if you have a great amount of talent, there's something else you got to bring along, and that's a great amount of money. So how do you balance this and try to move this forward to achieve these goals?
With marketing partners?
Yes, there you go. And I like how you call them marketing partners. You do not call them sponsors. And that right there is young drivers, if you're listening, my goodness, I cannot pound that in young drivers' head. They are marketing partners. I want you two guys to explain to the other young drivers why you call them marketing partners and not sponsors.
It's called a marketing partnership because instead of a sponsor or something, it's a partnership is you help each other. They give you something, you give them something.
Exactly. See, folks listening here on the radio and wrgg.org, I told you these two young men have it figured out. You're dead on, exactly right. There are so many young drivers that'll throw up on Facebook, I'm looking for a sponsor. And that's what they say. And they think the sponsors are going to knock down the door. That's not going to happen. You've got to go out and seek them out. And you've got to form a partnership because they want something in return too, don't they?
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about that, how it works both ways.
Well, it depends on the deal, but for example, they'll give you X amount of dollars if you help them promote their product or do something like that.
Right.
With the use of social media and on your car
and they may want
and stuff.
Right, and they may want you to show up and make some appearances and shake some hands and kiss some babies, right?
Yeah.
That's exactly right. And I tell you what, Michael Waltrip, okay, and he's a 2-time Daytona 500 winner. And there are a lot of critics out there that can bash Michael Waltrip from time to time. But I am telling you, that man has had it figured out to get marketing partners. He was one of the few drivers that I know, guys, who could go to a track, fail to qualify, and sign a sponsor as he was going out the gate, or sign a marketing partner as he was going out the gate. He really had it down, so it was no surprise with his work with his marketing partners how he was able to form his own cup team at one time. He did a really good job, and you guys have that figured out as well. I do have a question, and actually Beth had wrote this down, and this is a good question. Beth's my girlfriend. She's sitting over here beside me. She's got the headset on, and do you want to say hi to the boys, Beth? Oh, she waved. She doesn't want to get on and talk. Hey, she wants to. Oh, okay. Okay. She heard you. She waved. She wants to know, how do you guys decide who runs the first 50-lap race and who runs the second one?
So at Dominion, our first race, before qualifying, we did a coin toss.
Okay.
Whoever won the coin toss got to qualify and do the first race.
Gotcha.
And I won the coin toss.
And so you've alternated it since then?
Yep. Yes.
Okay. So it's just, okay, you go to this track, and the first race might be your turn, and the second race is my turn, and it's based off the coin toss of Dominion, correct?
Yes.
All right. Hey, are you guys planning to go to Dominion here in a couple of weeks?
Yes. Yes.
All right, all right. So I did talk to your friend Jason Shu. He said he was thinking about maybe going, trying a new setup, and what's it like? I mean, obviously in a traveling series, you're racing against the best in the business. We mentioned a lot of those names, but how about the different track configurations? I have to feel that that's going to make you a better driver too. So talk about the challenges of the different track configurations.
Well, we only race Dominion and Jennerstown, but they're different. Dominion has, we don't have, it's a lot shorter, but we also don't have power steering in our car.
Okay.
I thought it was harder to run Dominion without power steering than it was to run Jennerstown.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And also, Dominion gets a lot more grip.
Yeah, that makes sense. We went down to Dominion at the early part of the year, watched late model race. Philip Morris won the race, and yeah, because it's a shorter track, tighter turns, that would make complete sense, what you're talking about, the power steering. And but guys, I tell you, you know, you guys are on the right path. You're doing a great job. We're down here to just about 4 or 5 minutes left, and I'm glad you guys came on. I want to give you guys the opportunity to talk about your website, your social media sites, how your fans can get in touch with you, and anything you want to say about the Super Cup Stock Car Series itself and competing in that series. I give you a couple final thoughts for each one of you guys as we wind it down here.
Well, our website is thebrothersracingteam.com. We're open to any marketing partnerships that are available. You can contact us through our website or on our Facebook page, which is the Brothers Racing Team on Facebook. And yeah, you can contact us there. We have Instagram for the team Instagram. It's the Brothers Racing Team on Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah, and we have a Twitter too, which is again the Brothers Racing Team on Twitter.
Okay. So a lot of ways your fans can keep in touch with you, and how about a comment about competing in this series and a comment about the series itself?
We just want to thank Joe, the director of Super Cup,
Yes.
the Super Cup Stock Car Series, for giving us the opportunity to race. And this came together very quickly,
Yes.
and we're blessed to have the chance to drive at 14 years old.
Yes. And an impressive job you're doing, and keep up the great work, and don't worry about that open trailer, and don't be intimidated, because you guys have already banged out a top 10 finish in just your second race, and you've got your head screwed on right, and you're going to move forward, and you're going to do a great job. So Hayden and Landon, I want to thank both of you very, very much for coming on to the show. You're an inspiration to me and a lot of young drivers, and I want to say best of luck to you in your Stars and Stripes Dale Earnhardt Jr. car down at Dominion Raceway here in a couple weeks, okay?
Yep.
All right, well, Hayden, you there, buddy?
Bye.
Hey,
No.
hey, Hayden, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hayden,
Yeah.
thank you, Hayden, for being on, okay? Just
You're
want to
welcome.
individually, and Landon, thank you very much for being on, okay?
You're welcome. Thank you for having us.
You're very welcome. Tell your parents and all your family we said hi, and we'll be watching, okay? Good luck to you.
Yep. Thank you.
Okay, you take care.
All right.
All right, bye. How about that, ladies and gentlemen? I am telling you, I hope you young drivers and you young race fans out there, listen to that one. Because those are two young athletes, two young drivers that have got this figured out as far as marketing, their budget, how they're going to get it together. And yeah, they're a little intimidated, and yeah, they've got that open trailer and a starter car, they called it. But they're doing a great job. They're doing it the right way. With marketing partners going from go-karts to the Super Cup Stock Car Series, which is a fantastic series. So you young drivers, young fans, get in touch with these guys. You can learn a lot from these guys. They're doing a fantastic job. Folks, that's going to do it for this week's On Track with Mike on 93.7 FM WRGG, wrgg.org. We'll be right back here next Tuesday with the best in local dirt track and asphalt racing, 6 o'clock next Tuesday on Track with Mike. Have a good night.